All right, hello everyone again. As you can see, I've got Scout here with me, and I've got Mina as well. So they're both here. I'm actually in my kitchen because I like to change things up. So in a whole nother room today, because the kitchen is one of the cats' favorite rooms. We'll probably be seeing them more, but you just never know with cats. Anyway, all of that aside, I hope everyone's doing really well. Hopefully there'll be some changes coming soon in terms of classes that will be offered through Namaste, such and so forth. So just keep an eye out for the newsletter, and we will keep you posted on all of that. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually just start in this easy seat today. If you prefer to come onto your back or move into a different position, feel free. I dispensed with the music today. I didn't feel like it really added much. In fact, I felt it detracted from the last one. It's hard to get music on here without it sounding really tinny, so of course you can just add your own music here. So let's just close the eyes. Whatever position you've chosen, close the eyes, settle in. Come to that breath. And something that I found really valuable in the last couple of weeks, I've been doing a lot of meditation, a lot of reading. I've come across a line that really resonated with me, and that line is, "No feeling is final." And I really loved this because the idea that, we get into, in this time right now, a lot of strange stuff going on. We don't know what's coming next. We've been through a bunch already. And so that whatever it is you're feeling, you know that it's not going to last. And that's true of the good stuff too. Right? So we get into this point where we get in our lives and you find a good place, and then you strive and you cling on to that and you try to hold really tight to that good place. You know it doesn't work. So on the flip side of that, if you're feeling a little down, you're having a hard time today or maybe for a while now, just know that this is not final. What you're feeling, it's real, it's valid, but it's not it. This isn't you now. Just come to the breath. Be with that breath. And use this tool, this breath, this focusing on the breath as a tool to keep your focus drawn inward. Good. Again, if you're in any other position, don't worry about being in a different shape. We will eventually all move to seated. So if at any point, before I direct you there, if you want to make your way there, just know that that's where we're going to begin. And as you check in the body for those places where you might be holding tension, take a look around the muscles around the eyes, and then your tongue, and not just what the tongue is doing, but see if you can soften the tongue, the tip of the tongue relaxing to the roof of the mouth behind the two upper front teeth, and take that relaxation all the way back to the root of the tongue. Sometimes we hold tension in the throat. It starts to show up there in that area, certainly the jaws. For those of you who may have started in a different position, come on up into a seat. Take your time, make the transition yours. Here in the seated position, bring your right foot in front. And again, just notice if that's not the normal way you sit, or if that's always the way you come into your Sukhasana. You can always, too, be on the edge of a folded blanket, anything else that you might have around the house that will help elevate and lift the pelvis. That can be really helpful. Now we're going to start here with some circles. I do this one a lot. I know we're going to draw these spirals, start small, and And continue to allow the circles to get bigger and bigger as you move through. Now you can add in some head movement here. Maybe even getting a little creative and doing some shoulder movement. Totally up to you. And we're going to change the direction of the circles. Eventually we'll come back to a neutral spine. And take that left ear to the left shoulder. And bring the right hand outside the right leg. And a couple of options here. You can nod the head like you're doing a slow motion yes. Or you may take the left hand up onto the head just to create a little extra weight there. Now inhale, let the head move back to neutral. Extend that left arm up, keep the shoulder down. Walk your right hand off to the right a bit. We're going to side bend over to the right here. And then we're going to open this up a little bit by drawing the left elbow into the rib cage. Turn the gaze down. Extend the arm back out long. And then turn the gaze back up. Inhale, rise back up. We're going to walk this right hand behind the back. Take the left hand over to the right leg. Use the inhale, find that length. Exhale, gaze back. Now maybe you extend the right arm up here. That is the arm behind you. Feels a little odd. You don't have to. You can always keep it down. There is the option as well to lean towards your left knee now. And you can do this even if the arm isn't lifted. Inhale, come on back up. The hands moving back out behind you. We're still in our twist here. Take it a little bit deeper. And then turn the gaze forward and then towards the left shoulder. And we're going to keep moving on over to the left here. So you're coming out over the left leg. Take the inhale and exhale, drawing the body over left knee, but the right hip is going to stay rooted. So if you're doing this kind of thing, you want to lock that hip back down and then let the stretch grow from there. How's your breath, right? Take it one moment at a time. That's all we can do. That's all we can really ever do. Nothing profound there. Roll yourself up. Come to your center. We're going to extend the right leg forward. Foot is flexed, so straight forward, right out in front here. Now, engage. So you might want to move the flesh away a little bit. Again, if you're still sitting up on something, that's totally fine here. But you're going to let the upper half of the body relax. So as you exhale, just go heavy, like you're slumping over this right leg. Spine is rounding, head is hanging. But that right leg is still active, and you're still actively pressing the left foot into that inner right thigh. Let's incorporate a little breathing exercise here. Let's take some square breath. So square breath works in such a way that you're going to take a count of your next inhale. Let's just say it's 3 or 4. And then you're going to count, hold the breath, count for 4 there. Control the exhale out for that same count of 4. And then hold out the exhale for 4 counts. Right? It's not 4 isn't the magic number. That might just be where you are today. Whatever your inhale is going to be the length of the hold, the length of the exhale, and the length of the hold out of the exhale. If that is just way too much for your brain right now, stay with your regular deep breath. That's perfectly fine too. Now notice if that right leg has started to get a little lazy. Re-engage, flex the foot. We're going to add in a little movement here in a moment. So exhale out, let it all go, get completely empty. And then roll it back up. One vertebra at a time. Stack, stack, stack until you're all the way back up. Now, I'm going to turn here a little bit so you can see better. Your left hand is coming outside your left hip. The right arm is going to circle up. Now, you can stay right here. This is a really nice stretch. Or you can press into the hand and take those hips up. Now exhale, come on down. And here's where we're going to change it up a little bit. So now we're going to bring this left arm across, bring it outside the right leg. Your right arm's kind of doing whatever it wants. I like to press it into the floor. So I've got a little bit of traction to turn. This is a twist and a fold. So we're also coming forward. Left rib cage moving towards the inside of the right thigh. Now breathe here. So what we're going to do is we're going to marry these two movements. When you're ready, inhale, come on back up. Circle that left arm up and over, plant it diagonally behind you. Right arm, you can stay grounded or float the hips up. Exhale, come on down. Windmill, left arm comes up and over and fold, twist and fold. You can take this really slowly. I'm doing it one movement, one breath. But if you would prefer, you might choose to just stay in each one of these and hold instead. Last one. So next time that you're coming forward into that twisted fold, pause. Roll yourself up. And we're going to bring the left foot onto the mat here. You're going to take a bind. So this is what I call the slow roll down. And the idea here, and if you want to watch before you give it a try, is we're going to attempt to slowly roll down. You've got to bind on this left shin, and you're going to tuck, 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 tuck. Now you can see my left leg is, or my right leg is still on the earth. And without falling, I come all the way down slowly. That may not happen for you today. That's okay. So once you're there, just moving into this position, feel around into that left hip, maybe circle the ankle, spread and squeeze the toes. And then let's just get a stretch into this left hamstring. So you can find your bind here on the back of the thigh. You might be going up a little more, but let's keep the head and the shoulders down. When you lift the head and the shoulders, not as much stretch in the hamstrings. So maybe you lift for a moment, but then concentrate on bringing them back down and then work from there. Deeper stretch here. Flex the left foot if you want even more. Put a bend back into the knee. We're going to open the arms out to a T, and you're going to take this left knee and cross it all the way over towards the right. Now, you might want to land it on a block or a pillow if that works better for you. You can shift the gaze off towards your left hand here. Now, I don't have the room to do so, but if you do, maybe you straighten that left leg so it's coming out long over towards the right. Roll it on back. We're going to place that left foot down. Now your right foot's coming down as well. Now I take some moving bridges here. Arms are always optional in this pose, keeping them down at the sides. If you don't need quite as much today, we're going to inhale, roll the hips up, and then exhale, roll them down. Now the arm variation would be to take the arms up and over as you lift the hips and bring them back down as you lower. Try to feel the movement of each vertebra as it rolls up off the floor and then makes contact once again when you come down. Good, last one. We're going to bring it all back down. Straighten that right leg back out. So we're going to try to come back up the same way we came down. You're going to hug that knee back in, binding the shin. And then this is the slow roll up. The head and the shoulders lift. Now I'm going to push the shin into the hands and see if I can take a slow roll up here. For some of us, it might require a little more momentum. You may end up having to roll. Maybe you just trash the whole thing and just come all the way back up. It's really fine however you get there. Something to work on, something you can play with on your own. We are eventually going to land back in this easy seat. Your left foot will be in front. So let's take a moment once you find that easy seat. Reposition. Good, yep. So this time, rather than those circles, we're going to take the hands to the knees. We're going to exhale and round the spine, very much like we just did on our backs. But now on the inhale, when we arch, when we come back, we're rounding the spine. We don't quite have that opportunity in our moving bridge, just arching in that case. And here comes my cat. She's going to talk today, I guarantee it. And there she is. And exhale, round. And just breathing and moving here. And eventually, you'll find that neutral spine once again. Just sitting up nice and tall now. We're going to take the right ear towards the right shoulder. Your left hand's coming outside the left leg, and a couple of options. You can either do that slow nod here. Right? If you've been spending a lot of time on a device, you're probably feeling some tension in your shoulders and neck. This might be helpful. Your hand also right hand can come to your head, and you can just keep the head still and create that extra weight. Head's going to come back to neutral. That right arm is extending up. And we're going to take the side bend over to the left here. Now, draw that right elbow in towards the rib cage. Turn your gaze down. We're just creating more space in the shoulder and the neck here. And then extend the arm back out long and look back up at that right arm. Good. And then rise up. So we're going to sneak this left hand now behind the back. Take the right hand over to your left leg. Inhale to lengthen. Keeping a really nice long spine here. Exhale, start to gaze back. Now, if you want to take the left arm up behind you, you can do so. And there might even be a lean towards the right knee here. So I do have back music on in the background. Hopefully you guys aren't picking up too much of it. If you are, I apologize. Come on back up. Now hands going back out behind you. We're still in our twist. But now you're going to turn your gaze forward and then over towards the right knee. And then the body is going to move towards that right knee. Take the inhale here. And then exhale, you're going to fold right on over that right knee. Now this time again, if your left hip's popping up off the earth here, lower it back down, anchor, stretch from there. And then inhale, we're going to roll it back up. We're back to center. This left leg is coming straight forward, flexing the foot. So this is where we work with an active lower body, but relax the upper body. So just kind of go limp here. Keep this left leg active. And as you exhale, we're going to round and go really heavy here. Imagine that your left foot is pushing on the wall in front of you. So keep that foot active. Now, if you want to incorporate that square breath again here, letting those inhales, holds, exhales, and holds out, hold outs be the same length of time. Or maybe you want to just take some longer exhales so that you can focus on surrendering here. and whatever variation you've taken. We're going to inhale and just roll it back up. Now the right hand's coming out behind the right hip, left arm streams up here. If you want to stay down, or go ahead and lift the hips as you lift and open, maybe a little back bend. Exhale, lower down. Now here's where we come back forward. We're moving into the twisted fold this time. So your left hand may be out behind you to lift, start the turn from there. Your right hand somewhere on the outside of this left leg. And then fold, right ear moving towards the left leg, right rib cage moving towards the inner left thigh. We're going to marry those two movements now. So inhale, come on up, right hand comes out behind you, left arm lifts, float up. And exhale, come on down and sweep it down and around. So again, I'm taking it one movement, one breath. If you need to slow it down, slow it down. And remember, you don't have to lift the hips either. Good. This is the last one. So as you're coming forward now, we're going to just hold, rise back up. And now your right foot's coming onto the mat. So here's where we're going to do our slow roll down. So we've got that bind. Your right leg, your left leg is flat. We're going to round, round, round. So the key is to getting onto that lumbar spine before you start to roll out. And then you've got that support once you've gotten there. And take it all the way down. Right, maybe you rolled out a bit. That's okay. We've got the right knee drawn in now. We can move this around. Remember the ankle, the toes. We are eventually going to be back in sandals and barefoot very soon. At least the earth is happy with us right now. We're going to extend the right leg here. So here's where we work on the hamstrings some more. You can walk the hands up. Now again, if you want to lift for a moment, just to kind of find a little more length here, and then lower back down and see how that feels. More intensity by flexing this right foot. Put a bend back into the knee. We're going to take that twist here. So your left hand's coming over to this right thigh, and then we're going to cross the right knee all the way over to the left. Again, you have the option to straighten that right leg all the way off to the left if you have the space to do so. Your right arm out to the side, you might even be looking at your right hand, which is what I'm doing right now. And then roll back. So we're going to place the left foot onto the mat as well. And now we're going to take some moving bridges now. I'm going to add in a little bit of oomph on this one. Take it or leave it. If you want to go back to moving bridges, that's fine. Otherwise, as you inhale, roll up. And then if you want to add a little kick, that right leg is going to kick straight forward. Knees stay in line. Bring the foot down. Exhale, top of the spine, lower down. Inhale, roll it back up. Maybe left leg kicks forward, so you got to kind of reposition that standing leg. Foot comes down and lower. So those are the options. If you want to lift, extend, foot down and lower, or you're just going back to lifting and lowering if it feels like it's too much with that extended leg variation. Just finishing up here, and we're going to lower the hips back down. Take the knees in, hug in, head to the knees, rounding, little counter pose. Good, and let's take Let's take a happy baby while we're here. So we're going to take the outside edges of the feet now, grab them, and see if you can find a little playfulness here, right? This is a fun pose. It's got the word happy and baby in it. So see if you can find that happy baby. Good, and then hug the knees back in. We are going to transition from here and move it all the way up into a table pose. I do feed my cats, even though they're acting like I don't. And then from here, we're going to just take some really nice big side swifty, like a swifter movement. So, I don't even know what that means. Anyway, the hips are coming side to side here. Imagine like you have a tail that's doing a very, very big slow motion wag. And then we're going to come back to a neutral spine. And then let's extend and lift the right leg here straight out behind you. Put a bend into the knee. And you can't totally see my foot here, but we're going to just start tapping that right foot towards the ceiling. We're going to straighten the right leg back out long, and then cross it all the way over. So I'm planting my left ball of my foot down onto the earth here. And then from there, take an inhale to lengthen, exhale, start to look over that left shoulder. Now there is an optional twist here. If you want it, you can start to maybe just peel this left arm up. You might even extend it all the way up. That might feel like too much. Exhale now, that right hand or left hand's coming back down. We're going to float that right leg back up. And then exhale, hug the knee in. We're going to step it forward. Bring both hands. Now you've got both hands on the inside of the right foot here. Take an inhale. Now, this one's a little different. I want you to try to keep your fingers right in line with your right toes. So rather than walking your hands forward here or sliding this left leg back, you're going to keep 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here and here, and fingers right in line with those right toes. So as you exhale, you'll notice you probably don't come down as low. You might be here. You might use a block. That can be really helpful. So wherever you need to be, but try not to walk the hands forward or to change the position of the legs. It's a little more intense, tapping into some areas you might not be used to. So come back to the breath. Inhale, come on back up. Keep your right hand grounded, your left hand grounded, and you're going to start to pull this right arm up and towards the ceiling. Now maybe you want to take the right hand and even wrap it around the back and really spiral this open. At the same time, keep tucking this little right hip down. So as you spiral open from the chest, the right hip still is rooting towards the earth. And then exhale, we're going to release. Now, we're going to take this right foot and start to walk it forward and flex the foot here. If this feels like too much, you can be higher up here. You might have blocks to help you. If you have blocks or your hands towards the earth, feel free to start folding towards your right leg. Another hamstring stretch, in case you didn't know, I was doing a little focus on that today. And then come back up, put a little bend back into that knee, and then just slide that right knee back. And again, maybe some cat and cows this time, or if you want to do some more of that swaying of the hips here, maybe some circles, sort of like those spirals we did at the beginning. If you are making circles, go in both directions. Eventually we'll find that neutral spine. And then we'll extend the left leg back now. Put a bend into the knee. Good. And you're trying to keep that thigh parallel to the earth as you just gently tap the foot towards the ceiling. If you feel any kind of sensitivity under your left knee, you can, or under your right knee, you can always tuck something under there. Nothing too super cushy because you don't want to lose that stabilization. Good. Now, straighten that left leg, and then we're going to cross it all the way over. So I'm on the ball of this left foot, come up on the inhale, and then look back out behind you. And here's that optional twist. You can lean into your left hand. Maybe that right arm just starts to pull up. Maybe it moves up towards the ceiling. Good. And then exhale. Bring the hand back down. Left leg's going to lift back up out behind you. And we're going to step the foot forward. So now we're going to bring both hands inside this left foot. Remember, the idea here is fingertips are going to stay in line. You, of course, can do what you want to do. But this is just a different variation to play with. Both knees are at 90 degrees. And then rather than sliding that right leg back, see if you can just bend the elbows and start to lower here. And there's no big goal here. It's not like you're trying to get the forearms to the earth. Most of us won't, so it's not a big deal. Not a big deal if you don't. It's not a big deal if you do. You can always incorporate that square breath or any other breathing exercise into any pose that you're in. And then rising back up. Good. And then we're going to keep this right hand grounded. You can start to take your left arm up here. And there is a little optional wrapping here if you want to take that. Take the left hand around the back, reach around. Now as you start to twist that left shoulder up, keep your left hip drawing down. And that's where you're going to find the twist. Good. And then release. Take a look back down. We're just going to we're going to actually step that left foot forward here. So now we're moving again into another hamstring stretch. Flexing the foot. Remember, you can be up here on blocks or fold out over. And if you don't have blocks, a couple of books, you know, those things that have paper and covers that you don't look at on your device. I'm sure you have some of those lying around. Hi, where have you been? Good. And then come on up. Put a bend back into that knee. Just slide that knee back. Let's take a child's pose. Toes together, knees wide. And then sit back, stretch the arms long. Breathe into your back body. And remember, whatever you are feeling, it is temporary. Right? Let it go. Non-attachment. Non-attachment to things, ideas, beliefs, objects, and feelings. We're going to rise back up, coming into a table. Getting a little more into the hips here. Let's take the right leg, lift it back out behind you, and we're coming into pigeon. So if you want to step the foot forward, you can start to walk the foot over and then open the knee, or you can just slide it right into position. So going where you need to go here. So the idea is that you're not rolling all the way over onto the right hip here. Now that is the yin variation. You can certainly do that. You might want to put a little bend into this left leg if you are going there. Otherwise, if you're working with a straight leg, you want to try to keep the hips squared. So it can be really helpful here to put a block underneath the hip, in this case the right hip, a block or a blanket. It might not need as much as a block. And then we're going to come on down over. So you can see that my right foot is really flexed here because my shin is pretty far forward. That's to keep your knee protected. If you want to slide that foot in a little bit more, there might be a little more relaxation in the foot. Now, some of you might want a little bit more without sliding the foot forward. And if that's the case, maybe you just walk your hands over to the left a little bit. And then you kind of fold more out diagonally past this right foot. Okay, so that can take it up. By the same token, if you need less, move it off to the right a little bit. Otherwise, straight forward here. Any supports you need under the elbows, under your head. Now another option would be to stay lifted here, and that's a nice variation on a back bend. And then finding that from what I've been talking, my own habits and the discussions I've had with friends during this time is that the 40-45 minutes seems to be a good amount of time, maybe around 50 minutes. So this class won't be the full hour, but that doesn't mean you can't. I will give you time to spend on your own in Shavasana. So if you want a 10-minute Shavasana today or 15-minute Shavasana, that's completely up to you. And of course, whoever's living in your house with you. Speaking of which. So if you've been making this effort to come to your mat or the rug in the front of the TV in your living room, wherever you might be, such a good thing. I'm so glad that even if you're just doing it a little bit here and there, it's something. It will help you. Let's go ahead and come on up. And we're going to press into the hands, slide that right knee back. And then here, I want you to just do whatever comes naturally. So I know for me, I like to actually come into Pigeon or Shavasana with the right leg forward, which was just compressed, and open the hip back up. But I've noticed that when I give people the option to do what they want here, they end up doing all kinds of things. So close your eyes and let your body take you where it needs to go. And eventually, we're going to find that pigeon on the left side. So if you like to come into it a different way than from table, please feel free. Otherwise, we're going to slide this left knee forward. And again, the foot might be turned out. If you're rolling over on this left hip, then put a little bend into the right knee. That's more of the yin variation. Or you can stay lifted. So again, maybe putting a blanket or a block under this left hip if it's feeling really unsupported. And then from here, you can come forward. A little more intensity, you can walk the hands off to the right, a little less intensity to the left, or just stay straight forward here. Now, I've talked a lot about the difference between the sides, and there's a tendency to say, like, oh, this is my bad side, because it's really what you're saying is it's your tighter side, or you don't have as much range. And so I encourage you to reframe that on on the side that feels like it's a little more work, then
see what you can learn from the challenge that comes with that work. Right? And that could be very true for different people in your lives. If you have somebody that is particularly challenging, right? And I know the political climate is always dicey. It has been for a few years now. So I'm not saying go and purposely expose yourself to somebody who's saying crazy, crazy stuff. But at the same time, there are those that we have lessons to learn from. So I will leave it up to you to figure out who those people are, but they're there. Take a few moments to just move inward. Now come to your breath. Deep breath into the back body. And if you came off to one of the sides, come back to center. Slowly rise up. Lift up to slide that left knee back. And again, you find the pose that makes the most sense to you here. And eventually we're going to rise back up. And find a seat with the knees bent. We've got to just toss a little bit of core work in here. So we're going to work into our boat pose, sitting up tall here. So the feet for this first one are going to stay grounded. And the idea is to find the challenge with the feet grounded, right? Easy enough once we take the feet up, like, oh yeah, I can really feel that. But what does it take with the feet down? Keeping this flat back as you start to tip back. So you don't want to do this, and you don't want to be doing this, but find that straight spine and go to that point where you start to feel a little shaking. You feel the strength building here. Now maybe you choose to stay with that today because it's something a little different. If you want to lift the feet, that is going to kick it up a little bit. Maybe you straighten the legs. And then we'll take the feet down. Take a seated child's here. Just roll right over those knees. Now we're back up. So now I'm going to play a little bit with the full roll down, the full slow roll down. This one's considerably more challenging. Don't feel like you have to do it. If you're like, nope, not going there, go ahead and come onto your back. Otherwise, give it a shot. Both hands onto the shins here. And then you're going to just start to roll. Now, as soon as those feet start to lift, you're going to really push both shins into the hands. Tuck, 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 tuck. And see if you can come all the way down. And then landing down, feet will plant. We will go into a bridge pose now. And we're just going to hold this bridge pose. Nothing fancy on this one today. Walk your feet in closer towards your hips, arms down to the sides. And then let's roll it on up. If you want to tuck the shoulders underneath, go ahead and tuck. Continue to press the hands down as you press the hips up. And then, of course, press it into your feet. And in doing so, you will find a little more lift. The quads will get involved in the stretch. And the strength of those large muscles is going to help you find a little more lift here. And gently roll off the shoulders, come all the way down. Hug the knees in, take your head towards your knees. And then we'll take a more traditional spinal twist here. So with the knees drawn in, we're going to open the arms out to a T and take your knees over to the right as you shift your gaze off to the left. You might find it helpful to actually pick your head up and then turn it and put it back down.
And of course, if you want to bring something under those legs to give yourself some support here, please do. And inhale, come back up through center. And then we'll take the knees over to the left as we gaze off to the right. Again, maybe picking up the head and then turning it. And back up through center. If you would like to revisit Happy Baby one more time, grab the outside edges of the feet. And maybe get a little playful here. You know, those of you who come to my classes, I'm always talking about get kind of silly. So smack your feet together. Maybe grab the feet, bring the toes towards the mouth. Kind of get as silly as you can here. Gurgle, roll around, I don't care. But eventually when you are ready, you will find your way into your final pose. We're heading to our Shavasana. So close your eyes, start to settle in, find a comfortable space. Let the feet be a little more towards the corners of the mat. The arms are out away from the sides, a little tuck of the shoulders underneath. I will just do quick release of the body before I leave you to complete your Shavasana on your own. So once you find that comfortable spot, excuse me, I want you to squeeze your toes, tighten and squeeze your feet. Squeeze every muscle in your foot and then release it. Now on the next inhale, squeeze the muscles, the knees and the feet. So just that area of the body, tighten, 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 and then exhale, let it go. Now we're going to squeeze every muscle in the legs, both legs. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, release, including the glutes now. So pretty much from the waist down. Let everything else still relax as you squeeze, 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 and tighten. Exhale, let go. Let's bring the fingers and the hands in now. So just everything that you've squeezed up to this point along with the hands. Exhale, let it go. Add in the whole arm now. So into the upper arms, the shoulders. Exhale, release. Now everything from the neck down as you inhale. Tighten, 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 tighten. Exhale, release. Last one. On the spinal, inhale here. Tighten every single muscle in the body, every muscle in the face, all the way down to the toes. Exhale now. Release. Let everything go. Allow yourself to move into your Shavasana. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Please feel free to take as long as you are able to. Here, the more time you can spend in this pose to still your mind, to still your body, the better. Of course, to a limit. I hope to see all of you again soon. Keep checking back with our YouTube channel and, of course, with the Namaste website. Peace. Happy Shavasana. Namaste.